Welcome back to the BD Life, and I'm Shannon, and this is Bella. She would not let me do this video without her here, so here I am with her. And we wanted to talk about the social rules that we've broken, moving from living in a house or an apartment to living in an RV. And you may have seen my short videos where I talk about how I saved a lot of money doing our van life in LA. It was a really short bit. I ended up starting off slowly by staying in a hostel and then moving into van life to see if it would work for me, and it did. It worked fairly well, and we can talk about that later. But some of the social norms and expectations of people, I found that you can bend or break, especially now when inflation's so high and the cost of living so high and our pays are not moving as fast as inflation is. So one of them was something actually a administrator or my boss had once said, that she would never move to a place without working out all the details. Here's one that I still hesitant but will disagree on. I feel like you're never going to go do it if you plan out all the details, because a lot of details are going to be worked out as you arrive or as you go. So I think some major details, like where you're going to land and maybe working out the paperwork with an apartment, should go first, or even as far as flying over to where you want to go, checking it out, then flying back, making your preparations, and flying back again. I feel like that's an expensive way of doing things, but you can still do it. And I'm here right now, though, to break this social norm. Some things you just take a risk on, and you learn as you go. And no one gets started in RV life or van life or living in a tiny home nation without actually doing it. So go out and do what you want to do and see if it works for you. Did I have a fallback location when I decided to do this? No, I didn't. I guess I could go like couch surf with my sister in Vegas, but we did not do that. We didn't need to do that. We really worked really hard to make sure that this was our plan A was going to work. So there's social norm number one. Just go in and do it. You don't need to do a lot of planning to get into this lifestyle. Sometimes just jumping in is the best lesson to learn, which is all of my career too. Just jumping in and doing it. So second social norm I have come across is using shampoo and conditioner. I use shampoo and conditioner for my hair, and I've had a lot of issues with like hard water, soft water, and questionable water. Not super clean water. So you have to figure out when to wash your hair, how to wash your hair, and what to wash it with. And for me, I've actually learned on the go to try a dry shampoo. A shampoo bar is really popular these days, and for good reason. When I was doing van life in LA, I switched over to a shampoo bar, crossing my fingers my hair didn't fall out, and it worked really well. I just dried the bar off under some hand blower to dry your hands, and it dried real quick. Throw it in the box, good to go. You don't have to worry about it seeping into clothes or items in your car like bottled shampoo would. So you got to be careful with those. So that's another social norm that I ended up switching over to bar shampoo. And you can find a very good, decent price at a local grocery store or co-op, or if all else fails, Ulta has them for an up price on it. So be wary of that. Even on Amazon, it can be very expensive. So I recommend looking at your local markets before you start going into online shopping or to a specialty store like Ulta. So my third social norm that I wanted to break, or I'll tell you that I broke, was I followed this one person who lived van life through all of his schooling and his work, and I feel like that would be more extreme for me, but getting a porta potty for the vehicle was a really great idea, especially if you need to have some like urgency or you're older and you need to go right now. Porta potty is the way to go. Don't diss the porta potties. I didn't bring my dog with me to this van life experience. Brian took care of her here in Washington State while I attempted to try this out, and it worked really well. I guess the next social norm and expectation is to go with a group of people or go with other individuals and go with your family, go with your spouse or whatever. For the RV, we did go together. I would not travel without him, and so that's what we're doing. But I think the riskiest step or the most unknown step is doing it on your own. And like the first social norm I talked about, doing things on your own is really scary. It is. It's 100% scary. When I go into a new area, you know, I don't know anybody. I don't know how I'm going to be treated or perceived. And so it can be a really daunting and scary experience of the unknown. So, but you won't know unless you try. And that's really what it is. You keep an open mind and in heart. You just be a gentle soul in the universe, and you go and do it. So those are some social norms that I broke by doing the RV life and trying out the van life. I found in my travels before I got an RV, before I tried van life, that landlords were really difficult to work with. They had other expectations that I just, you know, because of my profession, they expected more. And so they would try to figure out how much money you make and they would try to take it. And that's, I don't really like living that way. I don't like to go and be forced in a position that way. I've been asked several times by different landlords how much money I made, and you know, they would expect a really, really high rent for a room, but you had no access to a kitchen and you had to use the back door. You couldn't park on the property. It's like you had to be non-existent but pay them lots of money. So van life was a really great way for me to discreetly remove myself from that risk factor, because landlords can become hostile, just like anybody though. Like a tenant could become hostile and squat. Landlords can be that way too. And then the RV life is a little bit more taxing. The difference between that is a little bit more taxing. So there was, with the RV, you have to go to an RV park. You have to go to dedicated places for RVs. They're bigger, they're more obnoxious. They're not discreet like van life. So one of those things I would recommend is figuring out what you would like to do. Would you like to do the RV life, which is a little bit more expensive depending where you go? We pay hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month on a small space. Well, ours is not that small at all, but we pay a significant amount of money for rent still. As for the van life, you would not have to. I guess you could if you go into like a camp or an excursion or the beach. You want premium parking. So those are some of the social norms I've broken. And these people who told me, you know, dogged on me for these things, I never hear from them again. In the end, it all affects just you. Oh, your mental strength against naysayers, and your willingness to try something, to make something work and make something of yourself, and figure out what life you really, really want to lead. Because there will be naysayers, but are they living your life? No. So, all right, you can't see her anymore. So that's it for social norms and the differences between van life and RV life. If you'd like to know more about van life, hit me up in the comments. If you want to know more about RV life, hit me up in the comments. anything about traveling, let me know what you'd like to see next. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to see more content like this.